If you'd like a good discussion of the issues you will not be hearing anywhere else, PayPal. Help us support ourselves. John Wright is a well-known pollster. You always hear about him and see him, and he's talking about polls. But today, it's different. He is here in his capacity as, I guess, an honorary advisor to the military since 2006. You know Canada's military. And I want to ask you about Afghanistan, because Britain's out of Afghanistan now. The United States is out of Afghanistan right now. Canada's been out for years and years. And there's still the issue of the interpreters, of the people. They don't just interpret the language, but they've been there helping Canadian forces throughout. They're Afghanis, and Canada's left them there. So they're tainted. They're saying now, well, boy, the Taliban's taking over. We're going to be dead.
Well, it kind of goes in two phases, because there was an evacuation of interpreters and their families who had served the Canadian military between 2007 and 2011. So we brought to this country over 700 people and settled them here. But I mean, now that we're pulling out completely,
right?
And we've had people there working at the embassy as support, but also interpreters. There's about another 115 individuals plus their families. That with the window closing and the Taliban now taking over most of the country, it doesn't bode well for people who are considered infidels, and that's how they're labeled. So if we don't get them out very shortly, then they'll meet some pretty awful fate for sure.
Yeah, I mean, not only them, but their families, because they would be viewed as, I guess, traitors. You say infidels, traitors, they are not with the Taliban, and therefore slice their heads off.
Yeah, and I think, we first went in, obviously, with NATO and the United States to deal with al-Qaeda, which was being shielded by the Taliban. But then after a couple of years, it became a nation-building circumstance. Even though the president in the last 24 hours has essentially said, no, we weren't there to nation build, you certainly were. So even when our military was not involved, we were still producing things to stabilize the country. We have a short window. And the response so far from the government up until just 24 hours ago, where the minister said we have something in the works, what that is, I don't know, has been to say, if you want to apply to the country to come here, you're welcome to do so on compassionate grounds. Well, of course it is.
You're gone by then. By the time you get half the paperwork done, you're going to be dead.
Right, and so we have the transport ability to do this.
Yes.
We've seen the United States leave people behind before and just come back, but I don't think that's the Canadian way. And it certainly doesn't bode well that if we go to another country in some other operation, people remember how you acted in these circumstances. So the Canadians have quite an impact in Afghanistan. I've been to Kabul. I've seen the work that we've done. The hospital was even something that the Canadians ran and upgraded. We've left our fingerprints there. I don't think we need to leave anybody behind.
John Wright, thank you very much. 3 minutes. Let's just not let Canadian government shame Canada on this one. 3 minutes. Our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau recently stood up in the House of Commons and prefaced his remarks by saying, and we will only work from the facts, quote, unquote, and then proceeded to lie by saying Britain was in a horrible, horrible third wave, trying to show, in fact, that Canada was not the worst in the world. Britain, though, had vaccines. Canada did not. And this was not reported in the mainstream Canadian media. The media paid for by Justin Trudeau. All of which, I'm telling you, is that it's important to have this 3-minute interview. Please subscribe, ask your friends to subscribe, and press that PayPal thing so we can continue on to bring you the news you otherwise might not know.